Hello, good evening, good morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. So, we are now into part two in recovering the Madeline Soto case. As I said yesterday, we are doing it as though we were there at the time and it's happening now in real time, so that those who don't know the case will be able to obviously catch up. There is a lot of things that have gone on in this case, a lot of things that have happened. So, when it goes to trial, that's a lot of information for people to try and get their head round. So we've got enough time to redo this from the beginning. Hello, Nick. How are you? Hope you are well. So we are going to go into. Let me just check that 1 minute. I want to make sure we are in the right bloody Friday update. I think this one. Why do I? That seems to be the order that they came in. Okay, we'll go with. I think we are in the right order.
So thank you for being here. We have some important developments in this case that we want to share with our community. I wish we were here to tell you that we have found Madeline, but we have not found her. Last night, detectives from the Kissimmee Police Department met with Madeline's mother, and they had to tell her the very devastating news that although we have not found Madeline, we are now confident that she is dead. So our efforts will be focused on recovering Madeline. Dozens and dozens of detectives, crime analysts, and specialized team members have been working nonstop and following up on every single lead and every shred of evidence. Our detectives have determined that Madeline was never dropped off on the morning of February 26th near her school. Instead, we believe she was already dead at the time and that Stephen Stearns moved her body in the early morning hours on that day. We have video evidence that shows Stephen Stearns discarding items in a dumpster in that apartment complex in Kissimmee at 7:35 on Monday, February 26th. Detectives later recovered Madeline's backpack and her school-issued laptop from that dumpster. At 8:19, we have evidence that shows Stephen Stearns returning to the complex and Madeline was visible in that vehicle. We believe she was already dead at that time. As a result of that, although the initial missing persons investigation started in Orange County, the Kissimmee Police Department will now be taking over the investigation and will become the lead agency. And of course, the Orange County Sheriff's Office, all of our support personnel will be available and will still be assisting in this investigation. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Holland from the Kissimmee Police Department. Chief.
Thank you for being here. As Sheriff Mina said, this is still an active and ongoing investigation, and there is a lot of additional information that we cannot release at this time. I do want to note that Stephen Stearns was transported from the Orange County Jail to the Osceola County Jail, where he is being held on capital sexual battery charges filed by the Kissimmee Police Detectives. Right now, our top priority is recovering Madeline. We are still appealing to our community for its help in this case. Please share this crime line bulletin on my right of Stephen Stearns. He was last seen driving a silver 2010 Lincoln MKZ. The Florida tag is IYLL82. On Monday, February 26th, between 1 and 2:30 p.m. in the area of State Road 192 and Old Hickory Tree Road, as well as Old Hickory Tree Road and Nolte Road. During this time frame, it is believed that Stearns had a flat tire and might have been seen changing the tire in this area. If anyone saw this vehicle or noticed anything suspicious, we're asking that they call Crime Line. We will continue to work tirelessly with the Orange County Sheriff's Office, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office, and St. Cloud Police Departments to bring a resolution to this case and recover Maddie. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Chief. We'll take some questions, but just remember, we're still in the middle of this investigation. There's a lot of things that we cannot reveal.
At this time, are there anything that Stearns spoke to anybody yet?
No, Stearns has not spoken to anyone.
Is there any possible specifics that you can give us as to what leads you to believe that she is definitively deceased?
The video evidence that we have.
Is it about just the position of her body, the way?
So we're not going to go into those exact details, but we have video evidence that leads us to believe that she's already dead.
Sheriff, there's been a lot of things that you just laid out here just now. This location in the afternoon, is there a belief, or are we trying to figure out, I know you're requesting video surveillance in that area. Are you trying to figure out whether she was still with this car at that time?
Yeah, so it could be helpful to us if people saw something. And obviously, we're searching many different areas. But if someone saw something in that area, we want to know about it.
Is that an area you've already searched?
What's that?
Where this car supposedly had a flat, is that an area you've already searched?
So we actually have people searching areas right now. So they've searched a bunch of different areas, and they're going to continue to search. So I don't want to go into specifics on exactly where. I don't want to miss something.
Morning of February 26th, did she leave the house?
One more time.
Did she leave the house? Was she, at that time, did you believe that she was, did she leave the house on her own?
So what I'll say is what I already said is that we believe he moved her body in those early morning hours, and all that is still under investigation.
The Madeline mother is cooperating with the investigation?
Yes, we're talking to the mother. Yes.
She's not considered a suspect.
So we're talking to the mother and all this. There's, to my knowledge, she's not a suspect in this case right now.
You had mentioned that he dropped some items in the dumpster. Did you recover those?
That's correct. So from the dumpster, we recovered her backpack and her school issued laptop.
Sheriff, do we believe that I know that you're piecing things together with different portions of video. Is it the department's belief that she was killed at the house?
It's our belief that she was killed in Kissimmee and that he moved her body. And so that's why the Kissimmee Police Department is the lead investigators now.
As for messages that you'd said that Madeline might have sent about living in the woods when she turned 13, are you questioning whether those were actually sent by her rather than someone else?
Yeah, that's all part of the investigation. So we haven't determined that yet.
Have you been in touch with Madeline's family? How are they taking this?
Yeah, so obviously detectives have spoken to her mother, and as you can imagine, the reaction that any parent would have.
So this is transitioned from a disappearance investigation to a murder investigation headed up by the Kissimmee Police Department.
That is correct. It is transitioned to a homicide investigation, and the Kissimmee Police Department will be the lead agency in that investigation.
At this point, any new charges?
We're still investigating it.
I have a question for you, Chief, regarding new charges, because we noticed there's an additional charge for sex battery on a victim under the age of 12. Are you continuing to go through his phone and find more evidence?
The detectives are continuing the investigation, and as more evidence comes up, there may be more charges in the future.
Is it believed that Madeline was a victim in that part of the investigation?
That's still all part of the investigation. I don't want to say right now.
What about the church footage that somebody mentioned that she was seen wearing she was seen at the church?
So yes, we reviewed that footage. It was very grainy. We weren't able to determine that was her, but like I said, we know that she was never dropped off at school that morning.
Are you assigning extra personnel to this case over the weekend? Our search is continuing.
That's correct. Searches are continuing as we speak. And so, like I said, we have people who are working nonstop. And so every lead that comes in, every piece of evidence that we receive, we're going to follow up on that. And if that leads us to a new search area, we'll be out all weekend.
Everybody good?
I think we're good.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Sheriff.
I think I got those in the wrong order, possibly, but we'll see when we go to do the next one. So let's go. Oh, no, I don't want that. We want to do that, and then we want to do that one so we get the documents up. So I'm just going to go through some more documents with you guys. So this is from the interview. This is what's been recorded with Stefan Stearns. So on February the 27th, 2024, Detective Acosta and I conducted a digitally recorded sworn interview with Stefan Stearns and below is the synopsis. So Stefan currently resides in Northport, Florida, which is where Brian Laundrie was from, or his parents, and comes to Kissimmee, Florida to spend time with Redacted and Redacted. So that'll be Jen and Madeline. On February the 25th, approximately 8:45, Stefan arrived at their homes, which is located, and it's been redacted, obviously. When he arrived, Jennifer was still at work, and he directed Madeline to get ready for bed. Once Jennifer arrived, I'm going to infer that, she informed Stefan and Madeline that she would like to sleep in and directed them to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom. That is not normal. So this is where the information then is dropped upon us that this was a normal situation for Stefan to do, to share a bed with his stepdaughter who, you know, just turned 13, so that she could have a lie-in. You know, so you know it's not normal. Most people wouldn't do it. So she said that she wanted to go sleep upstairs and for them to bugger off upstairs in the guest room. Now the following morning, Stefan and Madeline woke up at approximately 7:15 in the morning to get an early start so that they could purchase food for McDonald's before school. Madeline and he left the residence before 7:30 and before 7:45 hours and headed towards the McDonald's. And coming up with this bollocks is, I mean, you would be on the CCTV and everything, wouldn't you? So I don't see how you think you can get away with you know, lying about stuff, but he tried. So this is a McDonald's that is located on 1401 Town Loop Boulevard, Orlando, Florida. Now on the way to the McDonald's, apparently, I'm going to assume that's Madeline's name. She slept the entire time. And once in the area, he asked her if she still wanted the McDonald's, and she stated she did not. Stefan drove past the McDonald's and headed to the school and dropped Madeline off on the right-hand side of the road of the community of the South State. Ooh. Let me entertain you for a minute while I sing. Can't sing. Where is it? Where? Do, 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 do. It's dropped her off. I'll come back to that. I will come back to that in a minute. Hang on. So where was I? So he drove past the McDonald's and headed to the school, which is the Hunters Creek, isn't it? get rid of that. Hang on a minute, guys. Fuck's sake. Okay. Right, well, I've got that up. I'll bring it up in a bit. There it is. Okay, so he drops her off on the right side of the road near the community south of the State Road 417 overpass at 020 to 0840 hours. According to Stefan, she was going for a phase, which led her to be embarrassed of his vehicle, and she didn't like to be dropped off at the school in it. Madeline then informed Stefan that she was going to go and hang out with her friends, and Stefan did not question it, since it was not unusual for kids to hang out before school. Stefan let her out of the vehicle and told her to have a good day and love you. To which she replied, "Thanks, love you too." Stefan turned around and watched in the rearview mirror as Madeline rummaged through the backpack that he actually dumped as she walked into the direction of the school. Stefan assumed that she was looking for her headphones, but later realised she'd forgotten her phone. Stefan continued to observe Madeline walk to the direction of the school, and at this point, the detective showed Stefan a map of the area where he allegedly dropped her off for school. According to Stefan, he dropped her off on the sidewalk at the intersection of Lilac Cove Lane and Town Loop Boulevard. Is that what was on my little picture? Let me just spin that. Spinning around. Okay, let me just show you the map I have. I don't want to do that, do I? So that's what you're looking at. So that's the town loop. That's near the school, apparently. But just kind of gives you an idea of what that road looks like. There's a McDonald's there. It's quite a busy road, obviously. And there's sidewalk down that way. And then I'm going to assume similar on that side over there. But that's not the school, but that's where it just landed me. So he's concocted that story up, as you can hear. He said that, have a good day, love you. And then she said, oh, thanks, love you too. Like they're the Waltons or something. I don't think so. Well, we know that's not what happened. But that's the story that he came up with. So obviously they are continuing to take the statement from him, and he's continuing to talk bollocks. He gives her description, saying that she was wearing a hoodie. Apparently, Madeline enjoyed the cold weather. I mean, I'm not entirely sure that would be true. No one really thoroughly enjoys it unless you're an outdoor enthusiast, and then you're usually geared up for it. I asked Stefan if he pulled into the McDonald's plaza, to which he said he did not because she did not want the McDonald's. I then asked if at any point he made the U-turn, and he said he made a U-turn at the church parking lot to try and sell her on the McDonald's one more time because he was still hungry. Well, if this was a true event of what happened, then you'd have got the McDonald's for yourself, and if she didn't want it, she didn't want it. Trying to sell her into a McDonald's, I mean, if you're offering to buy a kid a McDonald's, I highly doubt they're going to say no thanks. They'll get something and put it in their bag for later and eat it cold probably. But he was still hungry, so at this point he's thinking of his belly. Madeline informed Stefan she just wanted to go to school, and therefore they turned back round, according to Stefan, and he made a U-turn into the church parking lot located at 1350 Town Loop Boulevard. Let me write that in there. What was it? Actually, let me put school. So this is the school. Let's put the little walkie man on. Oh yeah. So as you can see there, that's the road, and then that goes across that way. What was the numbers, the gadgets, the digits? 13502 131. So if you look, this is the church. I mean, there's not being dropped off near your school. And then there is not being dropped off near your school. Because that is here. And then if we come back, I need to zoom out a little bit, don't I? So that's up there. And school is down here. Which doesn't look that long on the map, but when you're, 13 years old and let's spin it around. Spin it around. I want to look in the property. Let me in now. So this is the alleged church that she was dropped off at. And then if you look down the road, okay, so that's the area when she was left, allegedly, which was not, we know is not what actually happened. So this then continues Stefan stated he was bad at reading maps, but he believed they came across the Town Loop Boulevard. Stefan then asked when he drives to the school, he usually takes the John Young pathway and makes a left where he sees the McDonald's onto the same road, which the school is on, which you just saw. According to Stefan, he uses landmarks to get to the school since he doesn't know street names. Oh, this is what we're dealing with. Considering he did this journey a lot, he didn't know what he was doing. I called Lorex on that one. Stefan then said, again stated Madeline said no to the McDonald's and that they had time to kill. Therefore, he made the U-turn probably by the church and then asked her if she wanted the McDonald's again. And when he dropped her off, Stefan asked her if it was okay for her to stay this early, and Madeline reassured him it was and that she wanted to wait for her friends to get there. Stefan told her, have a good day, and that I loved her, and she said she loved me too, bollocks, and then turned around to leave and then could see Madeline in the rearview mirror. So he was kind of reiterating what was said a little bit further on up there. At around 11 o'clock, Stefan went back to his residence and hung out with Jennifer again. And I asked Stefan if Jennifer was home for the first time, to which he stated, yeah, I think so. I think that's Jennifer. He wasn't sure because she had a blood appointment at the time at some point during the day and apologized, saying, sorry, everything is a blur. That's just an excuse for you getting everything mixed up and you don't know what you're talking about and you drop yourself in it. Stefan then stated he believed she was home because she was trying to sleep in as much as she could because she was messed up with her work schedule. Yeah, bollocks. That's what we think of that, innit? So let's come back here. Hope everyone's doing all right in the chat. You're all quiet. You're all quiet. I don't want that one. And then I am gonna put this one back on. We go back to my page again. It's come off. Right, I think these could be in the wrong order, but this one and this one. Okay, so let's watch this. This is one of the ones that was done on the news with WFTV, and he interviews on this one. So this one obviously would have been before the one that we've just seen because it's not quite in the order I thought I'd got them in the order. My apologies.
Missing. We had dropped her off close to the school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
No, she said we.
Sorry.
That's a bird, by the way, her bird in the background.
That should be it. Sorry about that. We dropped her off at school, close to school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share.
You share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I know you had conversations with detectives. Not sure what that conversation is, but whichever you feel comfortable sharing, that we'll put the awareness out there.
Yeah, she was spotted walking by the church, by the middle school on the cameras. They saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just saw her walk away around 9 a.m. heading towards the school, but she never made it. Yeah.
What has the school said? Have you been in contact with the school?
Yes, that they're doing everything they can. They've given me all their resources. The principals called me. They've looked at their cameras. I don't think they've caught anything. The cameras is too far away from the sidewalk. Everything is too grainy, so they can't see specific faces. But they looked. I'm just waiting to hear anything else from them.
Is this normal behavior
Not
to
at all.
just not show up or call or text or anything?
Not at all, no.
She didn't have her phone, remember?
From time to time, she will leave her cell phone at home accidentally, and that's actually what happened yesterday. She left her phone at home. She went to school. But that happens from time to time. She's got ADHD, her memory. She's very forgetful. So yeah, there's no way to track her right now because the detectives don't have her phone. But this isn't normal behavior, no.
What was the last thing, I guess, the conversation that you two had, you and your daughter?
We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working, but she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. I told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. But yeah.
13?
She's 13 years old. Yes.
13, Madeline?
Madeline.
What are you thinking right now?
In my heart, I feel like somebody took her. This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school. I don't know what to think.
Friends, the friends' parents, you've contacted and you went through every single person?
Everyone that we know that she knows, we've contacted them all, reached out to them. The parents have gone out to search and look for her as well. And we haven't come up with anything yet.
I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook, Hunters Creek rants and raves and what have you. Did people say that they were going to conduct some type of like search party or anything?
A lot of people have asked me to volunteer, like if there is one, if they can do one. I have people passing out flyers, going to every store in that vicinity, a gas station, church. I think people were being stopped in the street this morning in front of the school to see if they've seen anything, if they've heard anything. My family they're going all out right now. Yeah.
I know as a mother, a lot is going on in your brain.
So much.
To bring her back home. What have the law enforcement told you that you are able to share?
I mean, that they're doing the best they can. They've had detectives come out, interview us. They took a piece of her clothing for the canine dog to see if they can sniff her out. I'm not sure when that's being done.
Do you have any inkling where she possibly could be? Like if you would.
So she's jiggling a lot there. She's looking away, looking down. But I mean, she could be nervous because she's being interviewed. And obviously, we saw some interview yesterday. But Stefan is also gives some interview on this one as well.
Say, okay, last time I went to work and came back, she was at James' house or Sabrina's house, and maybe I forgot to check that house, or she played at this park one week and maybe she went back there or something like that.
We've looked everywhere we could have thought, and anywhere she would have been. She would have known to wait for me at the school. But we did check if she could have walked. My mom's office is close to the school. We checked there. We checked the walking paths that she could have taken. We've checked all of her friend's house. I think we've checked everywhere I could think of, honestly.
What do you think? Oh gosh, I just had it tip of my tongue. What was she wearing?
She was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, white Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with gray hibiscus flowers on it. That's about it.
And you said this is not like her
Not at all.
to run away, an argument, anything like that to provoke her.
She's never done anything like this, no. And we haven't had any arguments recently to have this outcome.
What school?
Hunters Creek Middle School.
Tom, any questions?
No.
Is there anything that you think our viewers would need to know about the way you're feeling, the way the family's feeling, Madeline?
We are desperate for any answers, anything that you could do to help. I'm here for it. Just please, if you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe. I hope you're not hurt. I just hope she's okay.
When did you notice that she was missing? Because this was at the beginning of the morning.
She got dropped off in the morning. We did not notice until after school pickup at 4 o'clock when I went to go pick her up and she wasn't at school.
So we're going in 24 hours now.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. No word. No text message. No messages anywhere from her. I've looked at all her social medias. I've looked at all her games she could have played with. Any app. No weird conversations. Nothing strange. Everything was conversations with just normal friends or us.
She knows how to get home by herself, as if, like, let's just say, to take a bus or an Uber or something like that. She would know how to get home alone, correct?
I'm not sure. I don't know if she would know how to get home. Maybe, I mean, I'm thinking if someone got in the car with her and if she pointed the way, what roads, she probably could figure out how to get, but like, does she know a full address? I don't think she does.
Which would give me it just puts in my brain that she always comes home with someone.
She always comes home
So
with me.
there's no need for her to really
Exactly.
learn. Okay. And you said no time? I think that was everything. All right, the first question is if I can get your first and last name and spell them both out for me.
Stephen Stearns, STEPHAN.
Bastard.
STERNS.
All right, so Stephen, you seem very emotional right now. Explain to us.
I dropped her off. Everything looked fine when I drove away. It's the last time we saw her.
What were the conversations that y'all had in the car when you dropped her off?
Not much. She was asleep for most of the way. Told her have a good day at school when she got out. I love her. Said thanks, love you too. That was it.
Bollocks.
And so where do you think she could possibly be? I mean, this isn't, as I was told, this isn't normal behavior.
This is not normal behavior. She's not the type that would just run off. We don't know where she could be. And we're scared.
You're
We just
scared
want her home.
because you know what you did,
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
allegedly.
It's hard not to.
Why?
I dropped her off early. I could have waited longer. She looked okay. She was walking towards the school when I saw her. It was like any other day, so I went on with my day. It's hard not to blame myself.
What has the conversation been with Jen since?
She's been a lot stronger than me. She's been holding it together really well. But it just keeps coming in waves. Just the reality keeps hitting. And we don't know where she is. We don't know if she's safe. We're just scared. We just want her home.
Have you like literally put boots on the ground, went out?
Yeah, I even went out with the cops where I had dropped her off, and we looked all up and down the road, all along communities, and there was nothing helpful. None of the cameras were pointing the street. Nothing, which in 2024 was surprising. The church across the street had some cameras, and they mentioned seeing her waiting around in the parking lot for a while before moving on, and that was it. But it was grainy. It was grainy footage, and not much else.
Does it seem like she walked west, east?
They said in the direction of the school. I'm not sure what that is.
What was the language? Not language verbally, language, body language. When you dropped her off, did she seem happy? Was she like, I'm going to meet my friends?
Happy. She got a happy weekend. She just turned 13. She had her 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together here, and she was just very happy. She was a happy kid. She's very sweet. She's a very sweet girl. She brings a lot of joy to us, and we just not knowing.
So the unknown is killing you.
Yeah, it's like our whole world is upside down. Not feeling her presence here is. Sorry. It's hard.
I know you're fine. No need to apologize. What do you want our viewers to know when they see this?
She's a sweetheart. She's a very sweet, kind girl. Just please be nice to her. Bring her home if you find her. Tell her that we love her. Wherever she is, I hope she's okay.
I mean, if someone were to come in contact with her and you gave me her...
Oh, I think it's bloody blurred. Hang on. Look at his hands, guys. He has got marks on his hands. Let me show you. So he's got mark here. And his knuckles are a bit red. And I can't quite see that, but I think there's a mark there. And these, they do have a better picture of his hand in the crime scene log, but I just wanted to point that out to you, that he has those marks.
Diagnoses. Would it be easy to approach her without any like agitation or anything?
Yeah. She's a good kid. She's a good kid.
If you can sum up in one complete sentence: waking up, getting ready to drop her off at school, dropping her off at school, to now speaking to me after talking to the police about her being missing for over 24 hours right now. In one complete sentence, what would that be?
A living nightmare. It's a living nightmare. Day started off like any other. I just want to wake up. You just get hit with waves of the reality, just it's setting in. As soon as it got dark last night, we started falling apart. We knew it wasn't going to come to an end. And now we're going on 24 hours and still nothing. Just conflicting reports here and there. People say they see this or that. None of it's conclusive and none of it's helpful. We just want a baby girl back.
The one you killed, yeah. Okay.
Tom, any questions?
No, I'm good.
Thank you.
Just hold up there for me.
Okay. So then his statement goes on. The policeman asks him if he recalled the time he went to the vape shop, because he went to the vape shop and he said it was around 11 o'clock and it was about a 10-minute drive. So he knows his way at the vape shop okay. He's just not too sure on anything else. He stated that the shop was called the E-Smoker Online Vape Shop, which is located on Hunters Oak Drive, Orlando, Florida. After making the purchase, he returns home. So he's kind of made sure that he's made his purchase so that he is seen. But obviously, he can't say that he went into McDonald's because he never did. So if he'd have said that, they could have got the footage of him not being in there, and so he wasn't ever going to say that, was he? He then returned home until approximately 12:45 at the time that Stephen had left the residence, according to the area of US 192, to run several errands. Now, Redaction had mentioned to Stephen she wanted to make a BJ's wholesale club list and wanted Stephen to be back in time to go with her to pick up Madeline. So that will be Jennifer. And then while on the US 192, Stefan visited to some card shops because he is a nerd. Yeah, he is. He's a dickhead. And there was a new card that had been released. Now, Stefan stated that he visited the Colosseum of Comics. So he's done a lot of things in this time since he took the life of Madeline, allegedly. Obviously, he's not been proven guilty in court, so it's still only allegedly. But if you know, you know. And he stopped at a couple of Targets and was going to go to House Rules Games on Oak Street. And then he didn't make it that far because he got a flat tire. And that is where he got fucking busted. I asked Stephen where he got his flat tire, and he informed me it was on US 192 and that he'd pulled up into one of the plazas. And then Stefan then stated it'd been about 10 years since he changed the tire and had made many rookie mistakes in the process, and it ended up pinning his thumb in between the jack and frame, probably to take account of the injuries to his hand. I asked Stefan which plaza he pulled into, and he stated he was not sure but believed it was before Oak Street. Stefan then stated that he did not make it back in time because he got a flat tire and then left to pick up Madeline without him. So Jen went on without him. So I still think at this point that she probably had an idea if she didn't already know. I think she knew. I think just watching her in the interviews, I think she knew. And I think they probably spent time trying to stop him getting caught, because obviously her heart belongs to him and takes priority over her child. And I think that's why she was as nervous as she was. And then she was also probably thinking in the back of her mind, fuck, they're going to find out about this really weird living arrangement that we've got where when I need my beauty sleep, I send my daughter to bed with her stepfather. And she's probably got that in the back of her mind as well. Now, Stefan then stated he didn't make it back in time because he got a flat tire. He left to pick up without him and then called Redaction, I think it's Jennifer, to tell her what happened, apologised profusely for not being back in time to go and pick up Madeline. And then once back at the residence, Stefan then hung out and then straight into the apartment as he waited for Jennifer and Madeline. Jennifer then contacted Stefan to let him know that Maddie had not come home at this time, and Stefan had began getting worried and started making calls to Maddie's friends and family and asking them to be on the lookout as she may be walking to them. And according to Stefan the Saint, this is when everything started to go downhill. I then asked Stefan if it was normal for Maddie to not have her phone, and he replied, Madeline was severely ADHD, as is her mum, and Stefan advised her to do this. It wasn't unusual for her to forget her phone. And I asked Stefan if she was on medication for ADHD, and he stated she normally took her medication but had not done so the week prior due to being at a grandparent's residence most of the week, resulting in Madeline being very spacey. And then Stefan then stated Jen's hours had changed at work, which is why he had driven up to help. As Detective Acosta was reviewing the map, Stefan asked if he had messed up his streets again, and then reiterated that he was bad at streets in the Hunters Creek area. Police informed Stefan he mentioned he made a U-turn at the church to see if she wanted the McDonald's again, to which he said yes. I asked Stefan if he'd gone anywhere else since they had time to kill, which he then stated no. I asked Stefan if there was any reasons why he would be back on John Young Parkway, and then he stated that when they tried to go to the McDonald's the second time, he would have made a left instead of looped around. And I asked Stefan to show me on the map to which he was referring to. Stefan then stated that he was originally going to go on the north of John Young's Pathway, turn left at the McDonald's at the Town Loop Boulevard towards the school, and then make a U-turn at the median located at Lilac Cove Lane and the Town Loop Boulevard. Stefan then went back to McDonald's with still time to kill, and she again stated that she did not want the McDonald's, so he gave her a cheese Danish that he had from home because he just carried one of those with him. Then he headed back onto John Young Pathway, turned eastbound, and then on Town Centre Boulevard, making a right towards the school. Police asked Stefan if he recalls what time he dropped her off, and he estimated it to be about 8:20, 8:40, somewhere in between. I asked Stefan if he had Google Maps on his application or as an application on his phone, and he advised he did, but he was not mapping it at the time. At this time, I asked Stefan, that's the police, if he would mind if I looked at his map, to which he stated he did not. He unlocked his phone, he handed it to me, and as I reviewed Stephen's Google Maps, Detective Acosta confirms again that the route that he took that morning, he confirmed again the route he took that morning. Detective Acosta informed Stefan, and he stated he had gone up John Young Parkway, Town Centre Boulevard, making the right to Town Loop. It's very repetitive. Before we dropped her off before the underpass south of the church. Stefan again stated Madeline enjoyed the morning walks when the weather was cold, and she did not like to get dropped off in his car because it was an image thing. Okay. Stefan informed Detective Costa that the bell usually rings around 9:15 and that he dropped her off that morning earlier than typical since they had made really good time. Stefan again confirmed watching Madeline walk to the direction of the school. I asked Stefan if he would mind if I checked if he was logged to his Google account, and he said he was not logged on, but that it was okay for me to check. And whilst I looked through Stefan's Google history, Detective Acosta continued to speak with Stefan. Stefan advised Detective Acosta the morning he dropped Madeline off to school, she had her school laptop, which should still be with her. Stefan described Madeline's backpack as black and a greyish hibiscus flowers with hibiscus flowers on it. Hibiscus. Why did I put an S in there? That looked like a bloody S. It was in there. Hibiscus flowers on it. Now that's an unusual thing for a dude to remember. It's a bit of a detail that I wouldn't expect a man to think of. He would have just said flowers, but he states hibiscus flowers. That's a weird thing to remember. Anyway, needless to say, he did. Detective Acosta asked Stefan if Madeline had ever run away for any amount of time, to which he stated Madeline was very dependent on them and would probably not know what to do if she ran away. Stefan also stated that Madeline was not the type to run away and that she was a good kid. Stefan informed Detective Acosta that Madeline had been tested a while ago and showed signs of being on the spectrum of autism, which had been diagnosed autism and then had been diagnosed with it, but was later advised that she was not autistic. Okay. Let me just check the TikTok's not working. Is it not? Been all right for me. Yeah, it's working for me. Yeah, it's fine. It's working fine over my end, matey. So he confirms with Stefan about the using of the Google Maps. And he stated, yes, go places, search addresses, look at store hours, write review. If it's a pretty new phone though. As I looked through the Google Maps account, I noticed he did not have recorded travel on his account consistent with the driving he informed us he had done on February the 26th and on February the 27th. So I asked Stefan when he had returned to the area to assist, and he then stated on February the 25th at approximately 8:30, just in time to make sure she was doing all her nightly routines as they had waited for Jennifer to get home. I asked Stefan where he and Madeline looked. Jennifer had looked for Madeline. He stated they had stayed local, and I asked Stefan if they drove anywhere, to which he stated he believed that they had not, and that Madeline's family or Jennifer's family was driving around. Stefan then said he did not recall driving anywhere on the night of the 26th, and that he was socked out on Avivan, and Ativan even. God, the writing's really small. And at the point, because he was a wreck and that he was on so many tranquilizers, and Stefan stated he had not needed to take Ativan in a while, but he'd been having panic attacks and had been crying and took it to sleep at night. That's because you know what he did. Detective Acosta had informed Stefan that we were trying to establish a timeline of events, at which point Stefan interrupted and stated he was trying his best, but he was not a morning person and he was trying to give his best guess. Detective Acosta then stated that we know he drove north to John Young Pathway and made a left at the McDonald's, to which Stefan agreed, and then he mentioned he dropped her off at around 8:20, 8:40. Detective Acosta then asked Stefan what time he believed he made the first left at the McDonald's, to which he stated it was either around 8 a.m. or quarter after 8. Detective Acosta showed Stefan on the map the direction he stated he travelled, while he again confirmed, and Detective Acosta pointed out to Stefan the direction he continued to mention that he travelled, which was northbound on the John Young Parkway. Detective Ash then asked Stefan why his vehicle was seen travelling southbound in the direction of Kissimmee, and Stefan stated he was sorry he'd forgotten his gate clicker, and then he had driven back to his residence, and then Stefan advised that he went through the front gate and had to use the Parkway Pass to grab his clicker, as he had not provided the wrong, and that he had provided the wrong times because he was not a morning person. So at this point, they're picking up his holes in his bollocks for story. Stefan then stated he almost arrived at the school and had plenty of time to kill, which is why he rushed back to get the gate clicker. I asked Stefan if, when I looked at the surveillance for the complex, it showed him entering the front gate with Madeline in the front seat, and he stated yes. And at that point, we believe Madeline was deceased, by the way. Detective Acosta asked Stefan if he could not have just waited until he dropped Madeline off to go to get the clicker, to which he stated he could have, but he liked coming into the complex through the back gate because sometimes they were busy in the front and it was better to not wait in a long time. At this point, I note Stefan's phone only contained minimal data on his call history. It appeared as if some of the messaging applications had never been used. I stepped away for a second as Detective Acosta continued to speak with Stefan. And while I walked away, Stefan informed Detective Acosta that he'd made a joke to Madeline on the morning of the 26th of February about her Crocs, since she wore Crocs and socks. Stefan described Madeline as a very good girl who brought a lot of joy, and it did not feel the same without her around. Stefan stated Madeline had been so happy she'd been looking forward to him visiting and them all being together. And Stefan stated Madeline called him her bonus dad, advising that they had a very strong bond and that she knew nothing but love in the household. Bollocks. Stefan stated that Madeline was doing well in school and that she was also singing. And then he stated Madeline had sang for him, and I reminded him, and it reminded him of the movie Sister Act, and he told her he was very proud of her. I returned to speak to Stefan and asked if he would unlock his phone, which he did. I asked Stefan if he had stated did not have his phone the morning he dropped Madeline off. He replied he'd forgotten it because he was too busy trying to get Madeline out the door. I then asked him if he had his phone when he went to the smoke shop, and he stated he did not the first time, but he did the second time. I informed Stefan that when I was looking at his cell history, I noticed that he only had a call log for for February the 27th, and asked if this was usual. And Stefan said, no, it's a new phone. And stupid, I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what the fuck, pardon me, what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive iOS update, I managed to factory reset my phone, and I've lost all my contacts and my information. I asked Stefan if he recalled what time that occurred, and he stated sometime while he was alone hanging out with Jennifer. Interesting that Jennifer was there when that happened. I informed Stefan that I was going to maintain possession of his phone at this time and asked him to please refrain from going back inside his vehicle. Stefan swore everything he told us was true. Detective Hunt stayed with Jennifer and Stefan. At approximately 8:30 hours, the Osceola Canine responded to the address 4012 Santa Maria Drive, Kissimmee, Florida, and conducted a track that yielded negative results. And at this time, Detective Acosta and I responded to the front entrance of the complex and made contact with the security in reference to the video surveillance and footage. I observed a male wearing a red t-shirt leaving the complex in a 210 silver Lincoln MKZ, though through the rear gate at 0750 hours. The female wearing a green sweater in the front seat. The person appeared to be sitting upright with her head slumped to the left side. And at 019 hours, I observed a male wearing a red shirt enter the complex through the front gate, North Hogland Boulevard, in the silver Lincoln with someone in the front seat wearing the green sweater and once again slumped over. At 031, the male wearing the red shirt left the complex in his silver Lincoln. And, this is the car that got him into trouble, with the through the rear gate with the female in the front passenger side completely slumped to the left. So, again, he's saying that she was dropped off at 8:20, 8:40, and then you've got the dude here saying that, the security saying 7:50, and then back at 8:19 hours, again, that this car is spotted with him in it, and then this female wearing the green sweater. So it's all a bit of a do, isn't it? So in that statement, you can see that the inconsistency is starting to come through. The police are starting to pick them up, and he is picking up that I think that they're picking that up. But it's interesting how it slowly pans out, and obviously from this side of things, we're looking at this and we're not aware of everything of what's going on in the background, and this is crumbling very, very quickly for Stefan. But his timings now do not match the timings given by security, and the female is wearing the green sweater that they heard about, and he's already then said that he's factory reset his phone, doing that update, and so the bollocks starts to roll in. And the deeper the hole that he is digging, the worse it's just going to be for him, innit? So, You know, that's part of what was going on in the background. And all we had obviously was these press conferences. We didn't know what was slowly starting to be revealed in the background. But you can tell in that interview that I showed you that things were not right with him in that interview. The things weren't right. The things aren't right with the mother. And I know people are nervous, but obviously he knew what he'd done. And I would be very shocked if Jennifer didn't know. So I am going to leave that there for today, and we will pick up on the next set of police press conferences, and we've got some body cams to go through and more documents, and I'll start showing the documents a bit more, and then we'll work up to get into the crime scene photos and all that sort of good stuff. But there's quite a lot of information to take in, and so we'll just take it bit by bit, guys. And I will be back on here again, so look out for the notification for that, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Love you all. Bye.